Well, welcome to the ToddCast. Thank you very much for being here. Hey, you could do us a huge favor. Tell somebody about the show. Tell them about the ToddCast. That's huge.
Here's the problem. We are in the presence of greatness here.
Yeah.
We're not worthy to be in your
Todd,
office as
actor,
posters.
director,
We're nervous, man.
Todd, don't
Rob
be nervous.
Reiner.
But listening to what you've been able to accomplish, do you think you could loan me a few dollars?
Dude, no problem.
Okay.
No problem, Rob.
You sound
Do
like
you
you're
ever
doing...
watch? Do you ever watch Gold Rush?
I
Rob?
did. I have watched Gold Rush.
Isn't it amazing?
And let me ask you, when you show those things with the river, there's the yellow in there. You put that yellow in there to make me think there's more gold there than there really is.
Rob, we're trying to get.
I understand.
It takes millions of those little tiny flakes.
Yeah, to make
it worth it to actually pay your bills.
Right.
You got big equipment. You got fuel. But, people don't realize that there's gold in your cell phone. There's gold in
Don't say that.
different parts in your car.
There's gold in them thar cell phones.
I can see people start tearing their stuff apart right now looking for the gold or start
Yeah.
digging in their backyard.
So
Todd said.
I just, being in Rob Reiner's office, I'm looking at all these posters. I'm seeing movies that I watched, years ago, and some were recent, but the different emotions, and I don't know. This is just amazing to be here. Number one, I'm thankful that you even let us in here.
Are you kidding me? You speak for the country. I got a little niche. You got the whole
little
world.
niche.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure there's something in here valuable that I can steal on the way out.
Yeah, let me see what we got. Well, you see the typewriter over there. That typewriter, that was the typewriter we used in Misery.
Was it
Remember?
really?
He typed on that, and he hit her over the head with the typewriter. That was that typewriter.
Okay, so in Misery, I'm watching it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, how is he ever going to get out of here?
Yeah.
But when she put the block
Oh, boy.
in between his feet and hit him with a sledge friggin' hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That had to leave a mark.
Whose idea was that?
Well, in the book, oddly enough, she actually, with an axe, chops the foot off. And so we
That'll
wanted,
leave a mark.
not that we didn't mind being gory, but we wanted to be able to say that he emerges from this whole experience at least intact.
Breaking the ankles
amazing.
like that is much
Breaking
better.
the ankles is pretty bad.
It's even
Pretty
more
bad.
gruesome,
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
I just remember watching that going, oh my God.
And I gotta ask you a little bit about Princess Bride. I
Yeah.
mean, we were talking earlier. I think I've seen that movie at least 50 times.
Yeah.
What a fantastic movie.
Well, thank you. I love the fact that there are kids, I was saying that there are kids that are 7, 8, 9 years old that saw it when they first, and now they're adults and they're showing their kids who are 7 and 8.
What did you have to do to get Andre the Giant on the show?
Well, first of all, Bill Goldman said, hey, Andre the Giant, he'd be perfect for the film. And I said, of course, he's, famous wrestler,
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't like we had a lot of choices. It's not like you throw a stick and 50 giants show up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically, you got Andre the Giant. If we don't get Andre, we probably don't make the film.
Dude, Andre was just, I don't know, he was just like iconic to us. We kind of grew up on wrestling, and
He came to Portland a couple of
he
times.
did.
When they
He
used
came-
to have
it was a
Portland
big
wrestling
deal
where
in
we
our
used to live.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
he was initially a good guy. And then towards the end of his career, they made him into a bad guy, and he hated that.
Yeah.
He hated being the bad guy because in reality, he really was a good guy. He was so sweet, nicest guy in the world. But the man could drink a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He could drink a little bit. One day he comes to work, and I say, Andre, what did you do last night? He said, well, I went to the bar. I had a couple of drinks, boss. I said, well, what do you drink? Like what? He said, I had 6 bottles of wine, 3 bottles of cognac.
Holy
I
smokes.
said, well, you must have been drunk. He said, no, I don't get drunk. A little tipsy, but that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he drank a lot.
That's awesome.
Now, you had said that you watched Todd's show.
Yeah.
Do you think there would ever be a time where you'd want to go up there with him and do some gold mining?
I don't know if it's gold. I just like being in that atmosphere. Every you're in Colorado, you say? I go up to Idaho every Christmas, in the mountains there. I love being in the mountains in the snow, and that I love. That I love doing.
It's pretty cool. I mean
if you find gold on top of it, it's a little extra,
We need to get you out there panning. I taught Harry Connick Jr. out of Pan Gold last year. So
did he get anything? Did he find
Yeah,
anything?
he did, but I mean, he's panning, and you're I'm on his show with him, and
Yeah.
I mean, it was like Beauty and the Beast. I mean, he had manicured fingernails.
Really?
Harry.
Harry.
Oh yeah, man.
Harry from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's the coolest guy, man.
Yeah.
That was fun, man.
Yeah.
He's
He's a really cool guy.
He's a fun guy.
He did all the music for When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, you're
Harry,
kidding.
Harry Connick. That was got
that's
his
awesome.
start. Yeah, he sang all and played piano and sang
Oh,
in
dude,
all the
he's
songs.
incredible.
Yeah.
Tell me about Stand By Me. Tell me about that movie. Obviously, everybody's seen it. Tell me, what was that like?
That was, to me, the most important film I made. And to this day, I mean, I look at it as the one that means the most to me.
Why?
Because it was the first time I made a movie that really reflected my personality, my sensibility. It had it was funny, but it had some melancholy to it. I said it in 1959 when I was 12 years old, and I had that feeling of friendship with friends, and I got a lot of strength from that. So it meant a lot to me.
Wow.
Yeah, and kids these days, they could never go do something like that. We would never allow our kids to just take off and go somewhere overnight. I mean,
then not only that, but to be away from their phones for
Yeah.
a half an hour,
Speaking of phones, what do we do? We're raising kids. They're all buried in their phones. As a father, I mean, it worries me that they're just going to be buried in their phones and they're not going to develop these interpersonal relationships and how to interact. I don't know. What do you got any advice on that?
Well, it does scare me a little bit. I thought, technology is great and it's made lives better in some ways, but I always thought it would drive people apart, because we all get in our little worlds, in our, and it's like that with entertainment. Everything is kind of geared towards this niche thing of what you're doing. I mean, if you look at the media, and people are in their silos, they don't listen to the other side. They only listen to their side, so they only get fed a certain point of view, Hard to break through and reach out. I mean, the whole idea is that we're all one. I mean, aren't we? I mean, we're all part of the same deal. So we got to connect with each other. The only way we're going to connect with each other is to kind of look at each other in the face and not say, I'm going to be in my little silo.
well, and even on the news now, I mean, what somebody's tweeted becomes part of the news.
Yeah.
And so many places that you work for now, your presence in social media and how well and how good you are at that can have a lot to do with what you do for that company.
Yeah.
So we're locked in.
Listen, I know, and what's scary is that if you like a certain point of view, which is fine, you never hear the other point of view because you're only listening to that one thing.
Yeah.
And advertisers target for that. The content people target for that. News, political ads, they all target towards that. And so very hard to get people to see beyond the end of their noses. Tough business.
What was it like working on All in the Family? Because we watched that. We laughed so hard when
Michael Stivic.
No, we had these
what
fights.
was that like?
It was the greatest experience for me.
71 to 78.
Yeah, we were there for 8 years, and it was the greatest experience. I mean, first of all, for a young guy to be a part of a show that was so cutting edge, and to be doing it in front of a live audience every week.
Wow.
And so you're here. Now, think about this for a second. If you wanted to watch All in the Family, you had to watch. There was no TiVo. There was no DVR.
You were there.
You had to watch it when it was on. That means that you, along with 40 million other people, because that's the audience we had, we were a country of 200 million at the time, you had a shared experience. 40 million people had a shared experience, and then you talked about it, and you were part of the conversation. Now we're a country of 320 million people, and if you, like your show, I don't know, you do a couple million or 2-3 million, I don't know how many people.
We'll do like
will watch?
same day. We'll do 3 million, but
All right,
I mean
3
around
million.
the world, it's huge.
But the point is, on that day, 3 million
3 million.
people, that's a big hit.
You were 40.
That's a big hit.
You were at 40.
And if you can get, like, on a network, 10 million or 15 million people in a And you don't all watch it on the same day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're watching it at the time you want to see it. So, if you're watching a streamed show with a lot of episodes, there's a lot of, don't tell me. I didn't know,
Don't put
spoiler
it on
alert.
Twitter.
So
Yeah.
you're not talking to the people about the thing that you're all experiencing.
See, I think we've lost that. I mean,
Yeah.
we've obviously lost it, but I mean, that had to be amazing, huh?
Yeah.
That'd be
yeah.
incredible.
It was an amazing
Well, there was only
experience.
3 networks.
Yeah, 3 networks.
But
This
I
is
mean,
before
by the
Fox, yeah.
70s, TV had gotten much bigger, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, there was only 3 networks divvying it up.
Right, 3 networks, and there was, every night there was 15 minutes of news. That's it. That's all you had. And Walter Cronkite was a big deal when he went to 30 minutes. Oh, 30 minutes, Walter Cronkite. Oh,
yeah.
And that's the way we got
Yeah.
our news. No money. He was a lost leader. Basically, networks thought, well, this is a, this is a public service we're doing for people. We're not going to charge them, whatever. Then all of a sudden, 60 Minutes comes on, and it's a big hit. And it was
Yeah.
a great show, but
Yeah.
it's a big hit and a moneymaker. And so now the networks and the sensibility changes. The main
Right.
news, you can make money off of news, and then the entertainment element
Yeah.
works
what-
its way into news.
Acting and directing. What is your favorite and why? What is good about each one?
Well-
Because you get into
Yeah.
a lot of pieces that you work on
Yeah,
too.
the acting is the most fun
Right.
and not the most satisfying because you don't, you're just doing your part. But I like doing it because I got no responsibility.
Right.
Except to learn my lines and show up and do
Yeah.
what I did. Years ago, I got a call from Ronnie Howard. He says he got his movie, and he says to me, "You want to Ed TV? It's with McConaughey and Woody Harrelson."
Oh, wow.
I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And he said, "Well, let me send you the script, and you'll see if there's something you want to do." I said, "No, I don't need to read the script." I said, "If it stinks, it's not my fault. It's your fault. I mean, I'm just an actor.
I'm an actor.
I'm an actor. I'm acting." But as a director, obviously you have all the responsibility,
Yeah.
but it's also more satisfying because you're getting to express yourself.
It's
in a-
kind of your baby, and you put it out there. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be. There'll be times where it's hurtful when you don't sell tickets. And,
Yeah.
And then the big ones where you sell, $100 million worth of tickets. It's like, it's got to be kind of an affirmation of
Well,
what you
it
just
is.
did.
It is at the time, but it's everybody. You never know what's going to be a success or not a success. You just do what you think you like and what's interesting to you, and hopefully other people will like it.
So I got to ask you about LBJ.
Yes,
It's in
LBJ.
theaters right now.
Yeah,
About 600 theaters across the country. It's not a, $100 million. I mean, it's
No,
not
no.
this fancy. Why did you take it? And give me the reasons why you took this project. Give me the reasons why Woody Harrelson, because I got to be honest with you, he did an amazing job.
yeah.
And you believe he's LBJ.
Yeah, and
you
so-
really do.
It's
I
so
mean,
funny because when people ask me, "What's your what movie do you have coming out?" I said LBJ. They say, "Who?" They say, "Who plays LBJ?" I said, "Woody Harrelson."
And they all go,
And they
"What?"
said, "What? Woody Harrelson? He can't be right." I said, "Where do
Yeah.
you see the movie? Where do you see what he did?" The reason I did it, and it's a great question because I was of draft age during the Vietnam War, and
Mm-hmm.
the country was really divided. I mean, much like it is now.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe in that war. I didn't think it was right. I didn't think we had a reason to be there. But half the country thought we did, and I was protesting against the war. And I didn't like LBJ for that reason because he could send me, it was a draft in those days, and you could get sent to your death, and so I didn't like it. But as I got older, and I spent a lot of time in politics, policy, I worked in California government for 7 years. I had a job here on early childhood and overseeing early childhood development. And I saw how difficult it was to get things done, to move policy forward. And when I looked at his record, what he had accomplished on a domestic level, second to maybe FDR, there were no greater legislative accomplishments than LBJ had. I mean, not only
I was surprised because my parents don't like LBJ.
right.
And I watched the movie.
Were they against the war?
Well, I was born in Germany as my dad got drafted.
Right.
But he came down on levee 2 times and somehow he was able to keep from going into the jungle and
Right.
being slaughtered.
Right.
So we look back now and we realize, what the hell were we doing there?
Right.
But he got drafted. I was born there. But I mean, a lot of people, I feel like LBJ, they wanted him to close down that war law
Well, sure,
earlier
of
than
course,
that. But,
of course they did.
But when I watched the movie, I realized, you know what? He pushed forward a lot of great things.
He did.
Can you
Before-
go through these things?
Yeah, before he
Because-
got deeply into Vietnam, before Vietnam really heated up, which was after Kennedy died, and then like early 60, like 64, 5, 6, 7, by 7 and 8, it was heavily built up. But before all that, he passed the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, Medicare, Medicaid, Head Start, the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act. I mean, all of these things that are...
He was also for internet neutrality.
Well,
there was no
internet in those days. We didn't have internet.
No.
We didn't have it. But no, his
I'm
accomplishments are
kinda,
off the charts.
I'm from the right, you're from the left, but I mean, looking at, the civil rights things that he got passed, those are right things to do. Those are
Absolutely.
amazing things
Absolutely,
to do.
and he paid a heavy price.
It looks like that. You brought that out too.
Yeah,
He had some guys that
Here's
from the
what's
South
interesting.
that came
But
up on him, huh?
But here's what's interesting. Think about this. Lincoln was a Republican, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Lincoln, Emancipation Proclamation, the whole war was fought over slavery. He eventually came down on the side of, we can't have slavery. That was the right thing, right?
Yeah.
The Democrats were in the South were all in favor of slavery. They were all in favor of that.
I knew it.
And Johnson knew that he was never going to get those Southern Democrats to agree with him on civil rights, and they all turned to Republicans. So Republicans, which was the party of Lincoln, becomes this other part. I mean, and then the Democrats shifted to the party of no slavery. I mean, it's a weird kind of thing. He had to reach across the aisle to Republicans in the North, Everett Dirksen and the Northern Republicans in order to get civil rights passed.
Well, it was an amazing movie. I suggest everybody get out there and watch it. I don't know. I think it's going to be played in universities, and I think it's going to be played for years to come.
I hope so.
I think it will. I think Woody, hats off to Woody because
He's great,
what did that take makeup wise to transform him every day?
Well, he first of all 2 hours every day in a chair for 2 hours, and it was tough on him. But what he did during that time, he would put earbuds in his ear, listening to Johnson. We had all these tapes and conversations with Johnson, so he would listen to that and he'd get into the character. But you'll see. I mean, if people see it, it's
amazing.
It's
an amazing movie.
performance. Yeah, thanks.
So do you take projects knowing that, hey, this may not be like, I'm not going to make as much as I would make on something that had more car chases and explosions.
Right.
Do you take a project like that just, from what's, heavy on your heart, or how do you grab a project?
Well, I think that. I mean, I think what am I thinking about? What is something I'm interested in? I'm lucky in that I had success, earlier on, and I've had a lot of success. And what that allows you to do is say, what am I really interested in? What do I care about? What am I thinking about? What am I feeling? And then you go and you do something that is reflective of that. And, if it makes money, fine. If it not, I mean, I'm not going to, nobody should hold a benefit for me. I mean, I'm fine. And how many steaks can you eat at one time? And
at some
how
point
many shirts can you put on?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Yeah.
In your years directing, was there ever a time in a movie where you got inspired or had an idea to change something that was maybe in the script that ended up being really, really good? That was a great instinct.
Well,
something that you just said, you know what, let's do it this way.
Okay, well, I've had those things where I doubted certain things. In Stand By Me, you mentioned, there's a scene where he tells a story at a campfire about this kid, Lard-ass Hogan, who, basically drinks the castor oil and the eggs and basically starts throwing up at the pie eating contest.
Got his revenge.
And I thought, I don't know. Is that
man.
do I really want to do that? Is that the story he would really tell? And then I said, wait a minute, he's 12 years old. Those are the kind of stories that other 12-year-olds would love. And so we left it in, and it turns out one of the biggest, funniest scenes in the movie.
Oh, dude, it was awesome.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about politics and everything, and this might be kind of tough, but politics and even Hollywood right now, sexual harassment and things like that, things that are coming up that we never knew about before. That's really huge right now. What do you think about all that?
Well, it's interesting. We've seemed to have gotten to a nexus point here where the floodgates are opening, and why I'm not quite sure, because I mean you had Bill Cosby with all those accusations, and he actually went to trial, which was a hung jury. We don't know what's going to happen.
Wow.
And but this discussion that we're all having didn't happen then. But the Harvey Weinstein thing, for some reason, opened the floodgates.
Yeah.
And everything is coming out.
And they're falling left and right.
Did you see
but
Charlie Rose? Charlie Rose,
Yeah.
that's the last guy I would think would be getting accused.
I mean, you don't know. And so here's the thing. Ultimately, it's all good. Because we're having this conversation, and maybe what it'll do is it'll reorder our culture of what's acceptable, what's not acceptable.
Okay, be honest.
Yeah.
Have you ever done something like that?
Oh,
Nelson, you go first.
By today's standard, absolutely, 100%. I've got a pile of garbage a mile wide behind me. Okay, this was back before I met my wife. I used to work for this one company, and there was a lady who worked there up in the front office, and she was rather attractive and rather well built. Mm-hmm. And I was very flirtatious with her. And one time, in front of some other people, I said to her, "You've got the nicest ass in the building."
Right.
By today's standards, I would have been in trouble for that.
Right.
I would have been. And
now, is that the only thing you did?
I don't.
I got a feeling there's more there, but I don't know if we should go into it. Now, Rob.
Because the only time...
Well, there was some prison time.
Yeah.
No, but it was. I mean, but it was a horrible thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I full on sexually harassed her. But after that, I learned to only sexually harass myself.
Well, and that's okay. That's
I didn't seem to mind,
Yeah.
and I knew I would never tell on
Rob.
you.
Right, and you can't fire yourself.
So let's just beat the headlines.
Okay.
How about you, Rob?
Well, it's well known, and it's only because Mary Tyler Moore did talk about it in her book, and she did mention it on the David Letterman show. When I was 14 years old, my hormones were raging. She walked around. She was like 25. She had those capri pants, and
dear.
I just, it was like Dr. Strangelove.
You grabbed her?
I grabbed her tush. I grabbed
Okay,
her
pack
tush.
up this. We're
mackerel.
out of here. I'm sorry. This interview is over.
We just broke the internet on this one.
Yeah.
That's
So I
amazing.
grabbed her tush, and she told on me. And my father calls me into the office.
Oh, no.
And he sits me down. He says, "Did you grab Mary Tyler Moore by the ass?" And I'm like, yeah, I did it. And he says, "Don't ever do that again." But he had a kind of half of a smile on his face, which to me, which is the bad message for boys. But the point is, at 14, yes, it's a bad thing. It's wrong. But if continues as an adult and you're doing this to women, then that's not right.
Well, like they say, like with the Harvey Weinstein thing, that it was like the worst kept secret in Hollywood. And I'm absolutely not going to put you on the spot. But is there somebody out there that you know of that you think if this keeps going that they might come up? No names.
No, I don't.
No.
That's
Good.
Well, that's the weird thing. I mean, I live in I never knew about Harvey Weinstein. I mean, I knew he was a tough guy to deal with. I mean, filmmakers that have said, "Oh, you don't want to work with Harvey, he's impossible." That I heard, but I never heard the sexual harassment stuff. So I don't hang around with people that are doing that kind of stuff.
You're working on a cool project. We had a good talk about it right now. Will you at least give Discovery a shot at it? Because it sounds like a project that might do really well.
We'll talk to them. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. That's you, Discovery, right?
Yeah.
Do you own a piece of that?
No, I don't
you're
know.
pushing Discovery
I wish.
like
No.
you got a piece of the
No,
thing.
I don't, but that's our home. These guys,
yeah.
these guys gave, I created Gold Rush. They gave me my first shot.
Right.
And so I just keep them in the loop
That's very
because,
nice.
that might be a project that they may want to take a bite on.
Okay.
And we were thinking too, just your look.
Yeah.
You got the beard.
I got the
There's
beard.
a little bit of hair missing up.
do
With
you
just
mean
a little bit of makeup, black out a couple of teeth, you could come on board as Rusty or somebody to come up there and be a
okay.
prospector. Todd could teach you how to run the gear. You could come up
Now,
and be
Todd,
on Gold
let me
Rush.
ask you.
Yeah.
How long have you had that beard like that?
Oh, it's been a few years, and and I got accused of something by a beautiful woman too. I got to confess it. She said that that I was overweight and that she wanted me to cut my beard. That was it.
She went easy on you.
Yeah, she did. So
that was
I
it?
get the women. Yeah,
That was
that's it. That's all it is. I've been married X amount of year, 22 years, and I love being married, and I want
Right.
to keep my wife.
And
right?
your wife doesn't say cut your
She
beard,
loves
does she?
it.
Okay,
No,
so
she
good.
used to, but once you start doing a TV show, as you well know, it gets into your contract,
Yeah.
and now you can't cut your beard
Yeah.
or you can't. They
you-
didn't
does
say
your
I
beard-
couldn't lose weight because
your
that's a
beard-
health
Yeah,
issue.
that you could do.
Are you saying your beard has a sponsor?
It does. No, but it's in a contract. So
Wow, that is amazing.
okay, Rob, this is going to be weird because I'm going to ask you something that probably I hope nobody's ever asked you this before. Rob Reiner, will you grab my nugget?
Oh boy. And this is a question that you ask knowing full well that we are living in this world of sexual harassment.
Probably not the best time to ask somebody to grab your nugget, but
Oh, that kind of nugget.
This nugget
Oh,
right
yeah.
here.
Well,
The
I've
gold
never been
nugget.
asked to grab this kind of nugget. Now I can't speak for
tell
the
them the
other
rules, Nelson.
Well, the rules are simple. Now that you've agreed,
guy. This is real gold, by the way.
it is.
Not
It is-
fool's gold.
It's
It's
weighty.
real.
Now that you've agreed to grab Todd's nugget, I'm sorry. While you're holding the nugget, you have to tell the truth, and you have to reveal something about yourself that is unusual, maybe odd, maybe something spectacular you've done. Nothing salacious, but
Okay.
yeah, those are kind of the rules.
Something that,
or
that people don't know about you,
All
Rob.
right. Well,
that-
here's a weird thing. I have saved 2 kids from drowning. One of them was my brother,
wow.
and when he was about 2 years old. So that's a thing. I was in the house with my brother. I was in the house, and I saw him outside. We had a pool in the backyard, and I was about 16 at the time, and he was pulling on a hose,
Wow.
and he was pulling it back, and he didn't see the pool, and he just fell right into the pool. And I was in the house. I ran from inside the house with all my clothes, just dove in, and he was at the bottom, and I grabbed him and
Wow.
picked him up and put him out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Did you ever remind him of this later in life and
every
use
minute
it?
of his life?
You ever needed help with
What
something?
was
I
it?
saved your life.
What was the second child?
Oh,
Tell them-
yeah, he was the second. The first one was my best friend at the time, Eric. We were at the beach, and we were playing ball. We were about 4 or 5 years old. And we're throwing the ball back and forth, and the ball hits his hand, and it went deeper, and he went to get it, and he just disappeared.
Gone.
And I ran to the, I said, Eric, he's gone. I don't know. And I said, well, they said, where? And they pointed, and I brought the adults out to take,
Wow.
Awesome.
The other one
to,
I actually,
to close down the show,
yes,
you have my nugget in your hand.
I do.
Can you give everybody that's going to see this interview some kind of a nugget about your life, maybe an encouragement or maybe some advice on what you've learned through your journey, through your life's journey that you can give to somebody else?
And try to make it more valuable than that nugget. No.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'll give you two nuggets. One is the things that you do when nobody else is looking, and you're doing a good something for somebody or a good thing that you don't expect credit for, and you don't ask for credit, and you just don't do it. Those are the greatest feelings. Those are the best feelings I have. And then the second thing is this. We're living here, right? We're all in this room doing this thing. Do you enjoy what you do? You like?
I do.
You do, right?
I do.
And you enjoy what you do?
Yeah, I don't really do anything. I live off of others.
Okay, but do you enjoy doing that?
I'm like a pilot fishing live.
I get it. The point
no, I love doing radio and I do a lot of voice acting and
Yeah.
I love doing that.
because think about this. We're spending this time doing this. This is our time on the planet.
Yeah.
And so you got to find a way to enjoy the things that you're doing, because that's it, So it's like, you never saw, that old cliche when a guy on his deathbed, you never heard a man on his deathbed said, I should have spent more time at the office.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
whatever it is that unless that's the thing that you rather do than anything, I would argue maybe not so good, but then do the thing that you like to do and find that thing and then just do it.
I feel guilty. We should wrap this up and go plant some trees.
We should.
Where? Where do you want to plant them?
LBJ, you guys, go see it in the theaters. It's amazing. It's a great movie. Very well done. Woody Harrelson's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Todd,
having us in your office.
Do you
This
want?
is awesome.
Do you want your nugget back?
I would like it back.
Okay.
Can I have it back?
Yes, you can
All
have it
right,
back.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Unrequited love.
Yeah. See you guys.
Thanks.